All right. So I wanted to talk about Powercreep in Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade and how it hurts the game, but not in the way that it hurts most games. And I want you to bear with me when I talk about this because it might sound weird, but the problem in JJK is not the problem that you see in other games. And actually, the way that they do it is very weird. Okay. And I think it definitely shows that this game is trying to cater to a Japanese audience like only and only mainly casual players in the Japanese audience because of how they handle content. And I think I've wanted to make this video for a couple days, took a little break, have a bunch of fun watching Link Click, probably the only good actual thing that came out of Billy. But bro, it's so weird how Powercreep and just how the content is handled in this game. And this could all be kind of disregarded when the new content comes out, but we'll have to, that's a discussion for the future. I want to talk about how it's looking right now and how it's going to look for global, like in a couple, for the next couple months still. Now, essentially, the topic I'm trying to bring up is that Powercreep is quicker than the actual content released, which means that Powercreep like makes the unit stronger than the content to where nothing becomes really difficult, right? And I'll use two examples, right? Or even three if we want. Legends, Powercreep is extremely quick, but that's a PvP game and you could guarantee a good amount of units. What, you get like around 20k crystals a month, which means on average you could get a guaranteed unit every 2 to 3 months, right? But they have pretty good rates and they have tickets and all that stuff. So it is a bit different, I think. There's also things like Zenkai. So, you know, I feel like I'm not going to bring up Legends exactly. My experience is not too great in that. But Dokkan is a perfect example to compare to JJK, where Dokkan has like big power creeps every year or so. Like for the 7th anniversary when Red Zone was introduced, that was a big power creep. None of the units could really compete. Then by 8th year, the units started catching up. In 9th year, you see a lot of the units kind of equal. And like a lot of people, I mean, I mainly watched The Truth, but he's saying like, yeah, we should expect a major power creep for 10th Annie, right? And you could say that like by the end of this, by the end of this year, what was great is that every release was really good on Dokkan, right? I definitely think Dokkan has a pretty good solution to it. And the thing is with Dokkan is every year shit changes, but we're going to talk a bit about what happened for the first year of JJK and how nothing fucking changed in general. And then we could bring up Star Rail, which power creep might be a bit too quick for a PvE game, right? Just to throw that in there. Now, the first point is that when you go into Tower is basically the only difficult content alongside the, I don't know what they're called, the EX battles, I guess. I'm too lazy because I get kicked out the first time I go into this on JP. Essentially, you have to go in the second time, but I genuinely just can't be asked, okay? Because then if I lose, it just takes too long, right? But it's semi-difficult. I'd say some people are struggling, but it's mainly Tower, right? Tower is the main difficult content. Okay, and the thing is that Tower, even up to floor 60, could be beaten with the 6-month units, right? And I'm talking about the floors released during the 1st anniversary. Could be beaten if you just had an account with units up to 6 months, okay? And I'm not kidding, right? They also made it so Mahito and Hanami are still pretty good in most of these stages, all right? We could take a look at them if you guys don't believe me. Floor 51, oh, is that a Mahito and a Gojo, right? Mahito Gojo. And like this is like all units 6 months or before. 52. This one, well, I mean, you could even use Toji instead of Miguel, 6-month unit, and you'd still win. And look at this, Mahito, like this is an insane team. SR, like standard unit, rare unit, standard unit, free-to-play unit, right? So when you look at it, free-to-play unit, SR, 6-month, standard, right? 53, it continues, Mahito's still there, right? 54, Blue Gojo's there. Then we could even check 60. Guess who's there? One of the teams that beat it was Ghetto and Gojo. Blue Gojo and Blue Ghetto. And look at this, a Blue Gojo Mahito. This, I mean, Inumaki's there, sure, but you could probably use someone else. Like Ghetto would work here. So what we're seeing is that we don't really need the new units, right, to beat stuff, okay? And that is a bit of a problem. And I'll talk about why. It's probably not in the way you're expecting it to be. I'm going to talk about what they should do to fix it, but I want to get through my points in order. Now, obviously, can this change? Sure. But floor 50 to 51 to 60 can be beaten by veteran free-to-play accounts. right? Have Mahito, have Hanami, you're fine. Floor 55 is the only one that's a bit annoying. I will 100% agree to that. But there's even a Saki and Toto strat, right? It's like, it's crazy. But listen, look at this. These are the 55 still, right? And you could for sure, you could use the more recent units. But even at that, yellow Nanami probably works better than yellow Yuji on this stage, because you get more black flashes with Nanami from what I've been seeing. But alongside having buffs, it's making it, wow, all these units are really good. Blue Ghetto's really good, right? So when you like kind of combine all of this together, it's like now the problem then becomes the way they handle their game and how much cubes they give. So they barely give cubes. Like you'll probably get, on JP, you'll probably get a like unit every 4 months. And on global, it's every 2 or so months, guaranteed, if you save everything, obviously, right? But every 2 or so months from the cubes I've kind of accumulated. Obviously, I'm still tallying it up, but it seems like global could guarantee one every 2 months, which makes sense because we're going 2 times as quick. It means we're getting the JP content 2 times as quick. And JP could get about 1 unit every 4 months, okay? And why that becomes a problem is because then they want to make it so you don't feel the power creep as much because they're giving you less units. And then what they're doing, this game does it very differently than other games, where it's like, instead of this game enticing you because of units being better, right? How they entice you is by the character itself, because this is a JJK IP. And the main problem is everyone wants every Gojo. Everyone wants Sukuna, okay? Everyone wants Yuta. Everyone wants Ghetto, right? Everyone wants these hype units. So because of that, their business structure, like correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, feels more like it's catered towards limiting you from getting the characters you want than limiting you from clearing content, okay? And this is directly something that I'm comparing to Dokkan. I think we could all agree, a lot of you guys watching since day one have always mentioned Dokkan. You guys always mention my Dokkan OSTs, okay? And I could tell a lot of you guys are Dokkan players, which does tell me a lot of people that play JJK at least dabbled in some Dokkan, right? So you have to understand, like, these are two very similar games in the way it's completely PvE and somewhat reliant, well, pretty heavily reliant on the IP. But Dokkan still makes it so that they make units better and better and better. And sure, we get better and better units here, but the content ain't exactly feeling harder, right? Because on global, they've already cleared up to 48. And now that they got Mahito, they could, 47, sorry. Now that they got Mahito, they could probably clear up to 50, right? So now it's like, okay, cool, they're giving us less cubes, but they're also making it so power creep is not bad. So then it literally becomes a problem of not being able to get your favorite characters. And I think that in itself is a bit weird, right? I would personally rather, like, okay, the biggest issue of them all, if we're being real, is that they're not adding content quick enough, because 10 floors between month 6 to year 1 is crazy. Like, we got a couple powerful enemy battles, we got the SP battles, and besides that, we got story and 10 tower floors on the first tier, right? So there is basically nothing. Okay, we've all been knowing that since pretty much the first 2 weeks, right? But seeing only 10 floors is probably another reason why, like, these new units don't feel necessary, because if you're going to release 10 fucking floors, right, then it's like, okay, great. Shit is not that hard, okay? And I'm on 55, sure. I'm basically, could I have cleared it? Yeah, because there's 2 things. You do probably need yellow Nanami, or you do the stall strat. And one thing I do not like in this game, as you will know, is I don't like the stall strat. And I didn't have yellow Nanami built up for my video. Next video I make, I'm going to for sure clear 55 with yellow Nanami. Someone cleared it with level 50 Nanami. So it's going to happen, right? But I just wanted to throw that in there because it's like funny me being like, yeah, it's super hard, and then I'm not even done tower, but I just like taking my time with it. I'm not trying to rush this, okay? I'm trying to have fun, if you guys understand that. Anyway, anyone could really clear tower, and then that's where the problem lies, because it's like they're really not trying to get you to summon for new units that are better, right? I mean, for example, in Black Clover, the other game I cover on the channel, no one fucking cares for the new unit because no one likes the new unit, right? So that's one of the things, and especially in JJK, that is a massive, massive point. So the thing is, if they start releasing more content, then it becomes a problem of, oh wait, not only can we not get our best units, the units we want, but it's also going to be way harder for free-to-plays to clear, because it's going to get more difficult, right? These 10 floors were more difficult, but they were not a big enough spike, right? One thing this game does well is designing floors amazingly. It's great content. These floors are great, but when you really look at it, like, I'm directly comparing to Dokkan, and Dokkan does this way better in actually making a power spike. These floors, besides 55, are really not that toxic if floor 60 is just beatable by Blue Gojo and Blue Ghetto, right? That's the thing. So, in my opinion, the best way to do this is just release more content. but also make it harder, have a big power spike, but also make it so that we get more cubes, okay? Because we need more cubes if you're going to make a power spike. But it's like, people might be like, oh, but it's going to lose some money, but not really, because if you make more content, people are going to want to play more, there's going to be more to do, and then also more units that they're going to be able to summon on, right? So if they're able to summon on more, it increases their morale for the game, but also gives them more content, right? They don't have to maybe increase it exactly like a ratio. If they do a 2 times increase, it doesn't have to be like 2 times the amount of cubes, but I definitely feel like more daily cubes is one of the biggest things. So that's the biggest thing. We need more cubes. It's just such a like bad system in my opinion, right? It's a PvE casual game, but at the same time, two biggest things people are yelling about is more cubes and more content. Okay, the biggest thing that makes content and makes discussion is when there's a difficult stage, when people ask, how do I beat X floor? How do I beat X stage, right? So they need to probably dive into that so that the community be more big, right? Let the community have more of a voice, more engagement. And I heard from a lot of the JP mods when Tower came out initially, there was a lot of discussion. It was very active, and that's because it was hard, because at the time, right, it wasn't like now. They already have all the guides ready for them because JP has already found it all, right? So they got to create that again, because floor 51 to 60 is not exactly that hard either. So there has to be a big power spike. It has to be very difficult. But then at the same time, make power creep worth it, right? Because Domain Gojo and Yuji are great. Domain Gojo, I mean, is number 1. But what's the point of being number 1 if he doesn't really change anything or impact anything? Because sure, he's going to help future content. But it's like, what, 3 months later, 6 months later? It's so weird, right? So I really hope the next content that they bring out is harder, right? They start having more power creep. Not a crazy amount more, but it has to be so that like day 1 units, unless besides the buff ones, day 1 units can't easily clear it. They should be able to clear it, and they could make good design floors. So it's not like I'm asking much from some of the best tower designs I've seen in gacha, right? So they could do it. I know they can. It's just such a weird structure in my opinion. Let me know if you disagree with me. I just wanted to kind of have a discussion about this, how it's like they're shooting themselves in the foot from the competitive players, from the pay to wins, because those are the players that are really going to go in on this, right? And you're kind of limiting them because it's like, yeah, sure, you could get Domain Gojo, but like literally yellow Gojo, right? Blue Gojo, green Gojo could clear all these floors, and you don't need Domain Gojo. It's just someone that is going to make it way easier. It's different. It's not making it clearable with these new units. It's making it quicker and easier. There's a huge, huge difference. At the end of the day, it's essentially just watch out for now, okay? Pull for who you want, right? And the only, with a little asterisk, pull for who you want, besides characters, getting Shibuya units, right? One of the biggest things why I also don't want people summoning on this Nanami is because we're probably going to get a Shibuya Nanami. We're probably going to get a Shibuya Nobara. We are going to get a Shibuya Mekamaru. So what's the point of summoning in these versions when we're going to get hyper cooler versions in the future, right? That's basically my point on that. But summon for whoever the fuck you want, because when we're really thinking about it, for right now, it just doesn't fucking matter. So until we see actual power creep, like, you could go for who you want. Just make sure it's like the hype version of who you want, right? Don't go for like Red Panda from here, right? Don't go for Yellow Mekamaru. Go for ultimate fucking absolute mode Mekamaru, okay? That's basically what I'm saying at the end of the day. Because I'm just like dogging on how shit the power creep is in this game, because they don't want money. I'm just saying they really don't want money from the actual like competitive people, because you can fucking clear everything with Mahito and Hanami, or at least like 85% of this tower, right? So I want to know what you agree with, what you disagree with, but I really do think that most of it is pretty true. It's definitely interesting that they went this route, but it makes sense because they wanted to lean into the IP side more than the competitive side. But I think going into the competitive side now would be great, because it would equal more content for them to make, more cubes, which would make people happier, but then power creep could be a bit quicker, which could be obviously offset with the free-to-play unit. That's probably going to come in April. I think what they're going to do is have one free-to-play unit a year, which would be Dagon in April, in my opinion. We'll have to see. Anyway, I want to hear your thoughts down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.